Alright, so this hoe don't really run that good right now. I mean, it runs. I've made some adjustments to the carbs, which was dropping the clip from the middle all the way to the bottom, which raises the needle up. But really, ultimately, what I ended up needing, I need to put a bigger main jet in this hoe, because I'm not running an airbox top, and I also have the DMC 998 pipes that I upgraded to from stock. So when you do that, plus not running an airbox lid, you're pulling in way more air and you have way less back pressure. So you have to get bigger main jets so that you can have enough fuel to air ratio and it won't do all that backfiring. So let's pop those in and see what's up. All right, so just to give an idea of what we're doing here, this little cap cover thing, this little protector that pops right off is around the main jet. There it is right there, that brass thing that was poking up through it. There's the hole. As you can see, it's got a little bubble. It just popped right there. Let me turn off the light because it's kind of too bright. You can see the hole inside of it. Let me show you what the 330 looks like. This particular one is, I've never even read the number on it, so I don't know what size it is. It doesn't look like it says anything. It's hard. I don't see anything. But yeah, I'll Google what stock is because I've never changed it. So as long as the person as long as the person that had it before me didn't change it, then it should still be stock. And I think it is because that hole is tiny. Let's see how big the 330 is that I'm about to put in there as compared to that. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to show you the best I can, but this is the difference in hole size. It's really not that much, but the 330, as you can see, this says 330 on it. Let me turn off the flash. Does that help? Yeah, 330 right there. As you can see, it is slightly bigger. Yeah, it is slightly bigger. So basically when that needle sits down in there, even at its bottom portion, when you're not touching the throttle, the needle will have more space around it inside of that hole and more gas will be allowed to flow, especially when you start giving throttle. It's going to have more gas flow. So that's the purpose of doing this, because I got to the bottom and I still was running too lean. So we got to richen it up. All right, so I just looked it up, and the main jet on a stock Yamaha Banshee Mikuni carburetor, like the style that I have, because there are different styles of the Mikuni, but the style that I have is a 220 main jet. So here you would be looking at a 220 on the right and a 330, which is what I'm about to put in on the left. So yeah, it's really small increments. I would imagine that it's I don't even know what that number stands for. It's definitely not millimeters or anything like that, but I'm about to pop that in. But basically what happens is when the needle comes down from the slide, it sits inside this hole like this. And the bigger the hole, the more gas you're going to have when it's, you know, sitting at idle or when you're giving it throttle. And the more airflow you have and the less back pressure you have because of exhaust customization and airbox customization and throttle body customization or reed customization, which I have all of that, then the more gas you have to give it so that you can richen it up, or vice versa if you go the other way, lean it out to make it run properly. And always, obviously, your carburetors need to be synced. I have the sync tool for that. Mine are already straight, and plus I know kind of how to pretty much eyeball it, but you really should always use the synchronization tool to make sure it's just right so that it runs perfect. But we're going to slap these holes in here. And that's all there is to it. You just screw that thing in there nice and tight and make sure it's snug, and then you put the little, whatever this little cover is, this little bowl protector here, it's like a splash protector. So basically what this does is when your bike is out of balance, when it's not sitting at level, and the gas is kind of sloshing around inside the bowl, this makes sure that it keeps the gas going into the hole like it's supposed to, instead of being on one side of the bowl or the other and not being able to get into the hole, and then you running lean. So you got to make sure you put that back on and you put it on in the right direction, because see, like right now I just slapped it on there, it's not right. This thing right here sticking down has to go into this hole right here, like so, and then that would be the proper direction to work properly. So this in particular is the main jet. The pilot jet is going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to try to do this without losing any pieces. You're going to switch over to the bowl itself, all the way down in there, a little flathead, and you're going to unscrew that out, and that's going to be your little pilot jet right there. That's going to basically show you or hold your idle when you're just sitting. I mean, if I'm thinking about that correctly, I think you might, yeah, definitely don't take my word for it, do your own research, but I'm pretty sure that's a pilot jet, and I would be changing that too. It's a 25 on the stock, and I'm going to be changing it to a 30, but I haven't gotten it yet, so when that comes, we'll do some more tuning. One more thing I want to stress about these carburetors, because I know people are looking at it, and I know they're going to roast me in the comments, is clean your damn carburetor, bro. Like, look at this. If you pull your carburetor off and it looks like this, take the time, get a new bowl gasket, put this thing in some kind of a wash, whether it's just a brush and some rubbing alcohol or gasoline, or even heck, soap and water, as long as you clean it thoroughly once you get done. But I wouldn't recommend it because I wouldn't want water all down in my carburetor, unless you have some way of like capping off these two holes on each side and then doing it, and maybe even putting a cover on that and then on top of this, it's best to just use something that's okay with going in there, like rubbing alcohol, like this over here, and a toothbrush, or just some kerosene or some gasoline. But yeah, do what I say, not as I do, because I ain't about to clean this bitch. I'm about to just slap it back in here. But just know that you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Just do what I say, right? All right. Okay, so we got that dirty ass McCune back in there with the 330 main jet from the 220, or I'm sorry, 200 stock main jet, and now we got the other side out. That's the thing you got to know about a Banshee. If you're going to buy one, you got 2 times the problems when it comes to carburetors, because there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with a carburetor. So when you're thinking about getting a Banshee, just know that it ain't just like a YZ or you know, a KX or something. I'm sorry, a fucking SX or KX or whatever, RM. It's not got one carburetor like these bikes do. It's got 2 of them. So it has 2 cylinders and it has 2 carburetors. So it's like double the trouble if you're not having these set up properly. So float height is another thing you got to think about when it comes to, are these things working properly? That's a whole nother ball game. The float height adjustment is a whole nother ball game when it comes to these carburetors. That is an adjustment that you have to make if it's not set properly and your bike is running wrong. But you got to know what signs to look for to know why your bike's running the wrong way. It could have nothing to even do with the carburetor. It could be an air leak, so you got to do a compression test. It could be the wrong spark plug. It could be the spark plug gap. It could be a stator issue. You know, like there's all kinds of things that can go wrong, but don't get it twisted. 2-stroke is way easier to work on than a 4-stroke, hands down. Like I've done everything to this motor. I've even been all the way down to the case. So like, don't get it twisted. 2-stroke's way easier, but you still gotta know what you're doing. If you wanna know about float height, reach out to South Texas Banshee on YouTube. He got it all. All right, so we got both those 330s are now into the carburetors. They are mounted and set. All we gotta do is put our slides back in to the throttle bodies, connect our gas hose to those 2 outputs, or I'm sorry, those 2 inputs there, and yeah, we'll be good to go, hopefully. Also recognize that when you pull these out, go ahead and set one to the side that it came out of and put the other one on the other side that it came out of, because these 2 slides are different than the other. The one that has the choke pull, which is always on the left, is going to have an extra notch on the top of it. That's how you will know that it's the right one on the right side, because if you look over here, this one here, it only has 1 notch. See? When these slides are going back down into the throttle body of the carburetor, or whatever you call this section of the carburetor, you have to make sure that that open notch right there on the bottom of the slide is on the same side as the idle screw right here, okay? Because that has to sit there so that on the inside, when you push it all the way in, it will go all the way down to where it's supposed to sit. If you have it backwards, it won't go all the way down. So the one side that has that long cutout, that long skinny cutout right there, goes on the inside, and then the cutout for the idle screw goes on the outside. And that way you know you have it right, and then this will sit back down properly. So don't get that wrong, and it's the same thing on the other side. One last thing, I'm gonna fire this baby up. You have to always make sure on a Banshee, between the 2 carburetors, there's a hose that goes right here. A lot of people will take out their carburetors and pull this little hose off and lay it down somewhere and then put it back together, and it won't crank. It will not crank without this hose. It's weird. I don't really even know why, but somehow this hose, when you put it back on, it starts right up. But just don't pull that mistake and forget that the hose in between the 2 carbs has to be on before you start trying to crank your bike, because without that, it's not doing nothing. Or if it does happen to crank, it's not gonna run very long. All right. So I'm gonna give you a real life first startup. I haven't adjusted the carburetor idle screw or I forgot what the other screw. There's an idle screw on the outside, and then on the inside there's another screw that we turned, and I have that set at 1.5 from all the way in. So we're just gonna crank it right off the rip from where we have it already. It is definitely cold. It has not been started. It might not be first kick, but that's because I had the carburetors off, obviously, and you know there's like no fluid in there right now. I gotta get the gas back going in. I'm gonna just give it a couple kicks and a couple pumps on the throttle to get some fluid in there. Turn the gas on, obviously. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, we want to pull the choke out. That was a real cold start right there. You saw it took me about 4 or 5 kicks, but I had forgot I needed to pull the choke out. So I finally pulled it out, and then after it starts, I just push it back in. If you pull the choke out, it's gonna shut off because we're in Texas and it's not that cold out here. So you don't really need choke except for to start it, and then as soon as it starts, you pretty much turn it off. So far, I'm happy with this idle. It's not too high, that's for sure. I kind of like a high idle because, you know, I'm mainly using this bike to do wheelies. If I'm taking it to the motocross track, then yeah, I'll turn the idle down. Let me turn on this fan so I don't get smoked out in here. Blow that shit that way. But yeah, it does sound like the idle could come up a little bit. But what we really care about is that when we give that wide open or that mid-range throttle, that we're gonna have good flow and no backfiring, because we were getting like a bog and a backfire. So that's what we're trying to get rid of. I'm not sure that we did that though. But so far the idle is decent. What? It sounds so much better, guys. Oh my gosh, so much better. Like before, it was like when I would get, this is like first part, and then like from here down, it was like, oh, it was like boggy. Like it couldn't do it. It would just like almost, it wouldn't almost shut off, but it would bog, and then eventually, once it would start to run again, like once it would start to pick up again with some response, it would shoot flames because it was finally, you know, catching inside the chamber and igniting. And since it wasn't running, it wasn't sparking or igniting before that from the previous revolutions, all that buildup in there would finally catch, and it was shooting flames out the back, and it was pretty annoying because every time you're trying to wheelie, you need that response. You need consistent throttle response on your throttle, or you just can't do anything really. You can't really wheelie it like that. I mean, you could ride some trails like that, but you can't do wheelies like that. So no, it sounded way better. I still feel like I can fine tune it a little bit, but yeah, she ready. I might go a little bit more out on that screw, not for the idle screw, but the other one, the main screw. I might come out to a 2 revolutions instead of a 1.5. But other than that, she sounds way better. I can already tell because from before, when I would hit this throttle really hard, it would choke out and it would finally start to pick up. But when it would shoot flames and it would pop, and it's not doing that anymore. So that's what my main concern was. Now I can really go through it, clean the carburetors like I want to. I wasn't really going to clean them like that because I know I'm just going to take it out to Crosby and get it all dirty all over again. But once I'm done with Crosby, yeah, for sure, I will pull them carburetors off now that I got them like I want them. Especially once the pilot jets come. Once the pilot jets come, I should probably have already went to Crosby by then and have my little fun. And then, you know, I'll pull them off, clean them up real good, throw those 30s in place of those 25s in the pilot jet down in the bowl, and she gonna really run then. It'll probably need a little more fine tuning after that, but yeah, she gonna be ready. She already ready. Shout out to Tone for the suggestion on the sizing up of the main jet. I really appreciate it, bro, because it really took care of that popping, backfiring bullshit I had going on, where I didn't have no throttle response from the mid to the wide open range. She ready now though, boy. Bro. Bro. Wow. Bro. Bro. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, boy. I'm speechless. Bro. All I can say about what just occurred is that I finally, after years of owning this Banshee, got to feel the true power that it really has. Like, I ain't never rode that Banshee like that. I mean, I've rode it hard, but it ain't never had power like that. And that's stock. Just a pipe and some reeds, some V-Force reeds. It ain't got no boost bottle on it. No, 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 regular mil spec piston heads. Like I don't got no words for it. It ain't never ran that good ever. It's always been ass, and it's mainly been on me because I never really took the time to like dig deep and try to figure out what exactly was wrong with it. I mean, at some points I had it running better than others, but never like that. And it's still not perfect. It's still not perfect, but yeah, pretty much all I got to say is that I finally got to ride that true power of this Banshee. And I'm sure there's a little bit more in there that somebody like the Banshee channel or, you know, Yamaha themselves or just a Banshee guru could bring a little bit more up out of it. But yeah, until then, until I get that 30 Pilot Jet, it's where it's at, and all I can say is, damn, it ain't never ran that good. It ain't never, ever. Well, folks, if you enjoyed that and you want to see this bike as it runs now or better at the track here in the near future or in the trails, the OHV trails out in past Conroe, yeah, definitely give me a follow. Definitely give me a subscribe to the YouTube, because it's going down. It's going down. I'm taking this the next time I go out to the OHV trails. It's going down. Yes, sir. And I will be jumping jumps at 3 Palms next time I go, because they're about the only track that will let you put a Banshee on the track, so on the special track that's made for ATVs. So yeah, I will be taking this there, even though it's overpriced. I'll at least have to give it one more go there, because the last time I took it there, it was running like straight ass, and I didn't even ride it. I just hopped on the e-bike, if that lets you know how ass it was running. But yeah, subscribe, follow if you want to see that kind of stuff. And I appreciate you watching this whole video. If you stuck it out through the end, that's crazy, because this video is about to be hella long. I already know. That's why I sped the whole thing up. Sorry about that. If you don't like that kind of shit, you can press the slow button. But there are some parts that are at 1 speed, so yeah, sorry about that. But it is what it is. Otherwise, the video would have been twice as long. But yeah, that's my 01 Yamaha Banshee with a brand new top end, and finally got a 330 main jet from the stock 200 or 220. I don't know what it is, because it didn't have no number on it, but I think it's 220, but not really sure because Google says 200. So, but if it's a certain kind of Mikuni carburetor, then it's 220, which is, I believe, the one that I have. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna go take a bath and I don't know, probably edit this video. Holla at your boy. Peace.